Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Once again, another comparison today, dude. Your boy is on fire. And after owning the XS Max for a while, I can tell you that I've always liked it. I thought it brought more to the table than the XS, but with the new addition to the family, the 11 Pro Max, you already know we gotta bust out this comparison. So we're going to be comparing the XS Max actually to the 11 Pro Max. Now there's a lot of differences, but there's also a lot more similarities, I think, than differences. So I'm gonna tell you right now, if you currently own an iPhone XS Max, dude, don't even think about upgrading to the 11 Pro Max. There's definitely advantages. There's definitely really cool things about this. But if you own the XS Max, keep it. I don't think you're going to, gain whatever, like $300-400 of value by getting the 11 Pro Max. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm probably going to mess up the names on these for the rest of this video, but I'm going to point. So if I'm pointing at a phone, this is the 11. This is the, see, I already did it. This is the XS Max. This is the 11 Pro Max. You can tell by the wallpapers and everything. But however, what I will tell you though, is that if you're coming from like an iPhone 6 or a Galaxy S3 or an LG G4 or whatever, and you're wanting to get the newest iPhone, you don't know which one to get, I'll probably tell you pick up 11 Pro Max. It's $1,100, but if you want the best value per dollar, still I think the XS Max is the way to go. But I want to talk about all the differences between these two. I'm going to run a speed comparison a little bit later so you guys can see which one and how much faster the 11 Pro Max is, whether it is even faster, let's say. But I will talk about the cameras a little bit briefly in this video, but I'm going to make a whole separate video talking about the camera. So that's kind of like a baseline of what we're going at. Now in terms of the way they feel, I'll definitely tell you the biggest difference. They're almost identical on the front. The back is where the biggest difference is. Now, I do have a skin on the back of my XS Max, but this one is your standard glass back. I'm sure you guys have seen it, but this one has that new frosted feeling. And what's weird about it though is that, first of all, I just want to say I have not heard anybody talk about this, but in my opinion, I think this feels good. I think it definitely feels different. It reminds me of like, I don't remember what it feels like, some car part, like some super premium screen. You know what it feels like? It feels like a resistive touch screen in my opinion. Like obviously it feels more premium, but it just feels like it has that coating of like a screen on a car. Maybe I'm just talking nonsense right now, but that's what it reminds me of. However, right here you do have that glass by the camera, the triple camera setup. And this is what I will tell you, okay? In my opinion, I like the glass back more than the frosted glass back. I think this one feels more premium. The back of the XS Max has that regular glass back that has this feeling in it. I think this one feels more premium than this, but this one probably has more functionality to it. I think this is more rugged. So that is an important thing to note. However, in my opinion, I feel like this glass feels more premium than this glass. So take it as you will. That's my opinion. You might have a different opinion on it, but apparently it is more rugged. Between these two, the XS Max will probably end up breaking faster than the 11 Pro Max, but it also depends how you drop it, all that stuff. But that's a whole different topic. A cool thing as well is that Face ID did get a little bit of an improvement. So now you can actually go in and use Face ID at more angles. I don't know if that's 100% the case. I just enabled it on my iPhone 11 Pro, and I don't know, maybe it is the case, I don't know, but to me, I don't really like Face ID that much. I never really liked it. I like Touch ID a lot better, but I guess it's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. They're both IP68 dust and water resistant, so you can go up to 2 meters of water for 30 minutes, so that's cool. I think Apple really hyped up the screen on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. They say it's like the Super Retina XDR, this and that. It's the same exact resolution. It's pretty much the same exact panel, just a different naming in my opinion. The 11 Pro Max should be able to get a little bit brighter. You had 625 nits on the XS Max, 800 nits on the 11 Pro Max, but if you don't really care about that, like I honestly don't care about that at all, then it's probably not going to matter to you. But in my opinion, I think both panels are pretty much identical. Now that pretty much covers up everything on the outside. Like I said, biggest difference is the back of these two phones in terms of the way they look. Now, one thing I want to hit on before we do a speed comparison is the software updates. So I said this before, and I don't know, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I do feel like the XS Max, the 11 Pro, I'm like 50-50. I think they could match the same software updates as the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max, coming from a XS and XS Max and iPhone XR. Like I feel like all these phones will get the same exact software versions. Now, I have no proof to verify that. That's just my thinking. I'm probably completely wrong. And the fact that I just said it probably means they're definitely not going to do it now, because every time I say something it's the exact opposite. But in my opinion, actually, I'm going to turn off auto brightness on here. I totally forgot to do that. I was wondering why this kept going up. Do they not have the accessibility settings in here anymore? I'm so confused. Well, whatever. I guess it's not that big of a deal. But ultimately, what I can tell you is the software updates, realistically, the 11 Pro Max should last you longer, but I still think the XS Max is going to be able to be just fine. If anything, I think they would match them because they look the same. Really, the biggest difference is the cameras on the back, but whatever. So now let's go ahead and do a little bit of a speed comparison. I've downloaded mostly the same apps on both devices. Now the iPhone XS Max does have the Apple A12 Bionic chip, a hexa-core CPU, and 4 gigs of RAM on all the models. The iPhone 11 Pro Max, however, has the Apple A13 Bionic chip, so an updated processor. It has the hexa-core processor as well. But interestingly enough, it has the same amount of RAM on this phone as this phone, so the same 4 gigabytes of RAM. I don't really understand why they did that. I don't know. Apparently that's what the case is. They said there's like a 2 additional gigabytes of RAM for the camera on the back. I have no way to verify that, but as far as we know, that's the case. So let's go and see which one is the faster device between these two. Okay, so like I said, I have basically the same apps on both these. All the apps are clear out in the background, as you guys can tell. So let's go ahead and start loading some of these apps. Let's do Quizlet, 3, 2, 1. Guys, right out of the bat, I'm going to remove this cube because it's so annoying. Okay, I was too busy moving the cube. I did not tell which one was faster. Netflix, 3, 2, 1. Actually, we got to move it back. I'm sorry. It just looks better. And actually, the XS Max loaded that one up faster, I think. So that was really weird. I was not expecting that. Snake versus Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And actually, I think the 11 Pro Max is going to open this one up faster. And yep, the 11 Pro Max was the faster device there. Getting into some gameplay, you guys will be able to tell they're almost exactly the same. This is a very basic game, a very basic app, but I love playing it. It's so much fun. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. And as you guys can tell, the 11 Pro Max was the much faster device, actually. That one loaded up way faster on the 11 Pro Max than I thought. And getting into some gameplay yet again, almost exactly the same. I just died on there. Stack, 3, 2, 1. Oh, there we go. And the 11 Pro Max was able to get into it faster. As you can see, technically it loaded the ad up faster. And then eventually we load up the app on the XS Max. Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And again, actually, it's faster on the 11 Pro Max, but I'll go ahead and redo it because we did have a little bit of a pop-up. Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And again, the 11 Pro Max faster than the iPhone XS Max. And if you guys can tell, XS Max on the left, 11 Pro Max on the right. Facebook, 3, 2, 1. Again, the 11 Pro Max is the faster device. Twitter, 3, 2, 1. Almost identical. These are apps that I think most people are probably going to use on an every day-to-day basis. Instagram, 3, 2, 1. I want to say tech, probably the 11 Pro Max was faster to load it up, but I was logged in here. Let's go and load up my story. Make sure you guys follow me. Oh my god, he bought the new iPhones. What a spoiled guy. Paper Out 2, 3, 2, 1. And the 11 Pro Max was faster. Now, on the sidebar, the really interesting thing about this game is that it's super glitchy on anything I run it on. I can run it on like a friggin' 100,000 core CPU and be able to like have the Apple A20 chip. It's still going to be glitchy. I don't know why. Paper.io 2 developers, you guys need to fix it. It used to never be that glitchy, but Snapchat 3, 2, 1. 11 Pro Max was just a split second faster. Temple Run 3, 2, 1. Hopefully I don't have to redo it on here. Yep, I do have to redo it. I already knew it. Temple Run again. 3, 2, 1. Man, it's looking like it's gonna be close. Actually, the 11 Pro Max looks like... I don't know. It was almost exactly the same. 11 Pro Max maybe just a little bit faster, but realistically almost the same. Dropbox, 3, 2, 1. 10S Max actually was faster there. Bofa, 3, 2, 1. The 11 Pro Max is faster here as well. And Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And as you guys can tell, 11 Pro Max just got into it faster. It loaded the things up and it downloaded the things up faster as well. So maybe downloading speeds are faster, maybe everything is just faster. So that's awesome to see. Let's end it off with Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. One thing about this game, it always makes you download random things, which is so obnoxious, but I guess it's whatever. And you guys can see, actually, the XS Max loaded up faster than the 11 Pro Max. I don't know why that happened. I mean, like I said, a lot of flippy-floppy. You can never be too certain, but I would expect the XS Max to be a little bit slower, actually, to be honest. Now, ultimately, what I can tell you is the 11 Pro Max is definitely the faster device here and there. It's definitely a fast device, but I think the XS Max was faster a couple instances, so I don't know what that was. I don't know what the case was. I mean, this technically is slower than this because of the chipset and everything, but I don't know. Really, really weird. I would say speed comparison, inconclusive so far. I don't think I have a clear winner, but I would probably just say the 11 Pro Max because it is a newer device, but I don't know. I'll probably test that further. Now, I'm going to talk about the cameras for a second, but like I said, I'm going to make a whole separate video talking about them, but I'll just run over through them a little bit. You have a dual camera setup on the XS Max and a triple camera setup on the 11 Pro Max. Now, 2 12 megapixel sensors here on the XS Max, 3 12 megapixel sensors, but that extra sensor is an ultra wide sensor, so it allows you to get more into a photo and have that kind of fisheye lens effect. Front cameras are also a little different. You have a 7 megapixel camera on the XS Max, but now an upgraded 12 megapixel sensor on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So you can do 4K at up to 60 frames per second on that front camera, which is super cool and I love seeing that. Camera wise, as expected, the XS Max, which is the one I'm doing right now, it's very, very good still. I mean, this is not even good lighting or anything, but it's a very good camera in my opinion. You still have a lot of features, a lot of functionality, portrait mode, all that good stuff. I've always found that ever since like the iPhone 7 Plus, even the 6S, iPhone cameras have been very, very solid. I think the XS Max is still up there. I don't think it's a bad camera at all. Like not even, this isn't even an old phone, guys, like I'm being honest. But this camera is still very solid. However, the 11 Pro Max is the clear winner here in my opinion. You have more functionality. Like I said, you have that telephoto lens, which also the XS Max had. But now you can do that ultra wide fisheye lens thing. So now you can see more into a photo. Like I said, I think that's as far as it goes. You can see my leg in the corner, but you can also zoom in more. And what's cool is when you're zooming in and out, as you could do on the XS Max, you can see the cameras changing, which I don't know, it's kind of more apparent now, I think, than it was before, but it's whatever. You also have more settings on here. You have, 4K up to 60 frames on that front camera. Apparently audio zooming as well, which I'll test out in the full review of the cameras as well. So really, really cool stuff. And I think the 11 Pro Max by far has a better camera. Now hitting on the battery life for a second, I think this is one of the more interesting things and the things that I love the most about the 11 Pro Max. The XS Max before had a 3174 mAh battery, which for a phone this size, for the specs in this phone as well as the screen, how big it was, that's kind of small in my opinion. And people were complaining quite a bit about the XS Max's battery life, saying they had to charge all the time and everything. With the 11 Pro Max though, they improved that to 3969 mAh, so not a full 1000 mAh increase, but about like 900-800 points, which is crazy. I love that so much. They also included a fast charger in the box, which is amazing. So what I can tell you is the XS Max had a pretty good battery life, it was actually more so average, I'm not gonna lie. The 11 Pro Max should up in that and increase that battery life as well. So ultimately, bro, this is what I'll tell you. If you have a XS Max, keep it. I don't think it's worth the money to go and upgrade. Just get an Apple Smart battery case if you care about the battery life. But I do think the 11 Pro Max is obviously the better package. It is the better phone. And I do think it is a better value per dollar, but I just don't think it's worth $1,100. I think that's still a lot to spend on a phone. I think the iPhone 10 is still a very good value. I think a used XS Max is probably a really good value as well. But I think if you had to choose between the two, probably the 11 Pro Max would be my best choice. But I don't know. This is a tough one because you can probably pick one of these up in the used market for like $800. Which is still a lot of money, compared to something like this is $1,100. There's only like a $400 difference, which is kind of weird. I don't know. They're both super expensive. I would probably just tell you to get like an iPhone 10 or used iPhone 10R to be honest, but ultimately you cannot go wrong with either of these phones. But I do think the 11 Pro Max is the better phone, but I need to test that speed comparison thing one more time. I don't know why there was not that big of a difference between these two, but that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those things are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, Dylan.